Welcome to today's episode of Table Talk with
the Mercer County ESC.
All right. Hi, everyone. This is episode 5. Today we have a special guest who is Beth Guggenbiller. And before we get into any questions, I have a story to share about Beth.
Well, actually, I'd like to ask Emily. I heard that you got Lindsay a mouse holder.
I did. Lindsay, she's very good at
like a clicking mouse.
She's very good at like logistics. Like she can write like all the logistics out for things, make all the copies, but like when it comes to her own like stuff, I spend so much time looking for Lindsay's water, her mouse, her phone, everything.
So my question is, does Lindsay know that you got her this mouse
You know what?
holder?
I would show it to you, but it's on the other side of her laptop because I spent my own money
So
to order this.
Right on the other side of her laptop. There should be
the mouse. So like, here's how it would work. You would use your mouse, do what you need to do. Then you would go, oh, I'm done with my mouse. Where can I put it? In my mouse holder. Because guess where it'll be when you take your computer out? In the mouse holder.
So I use it all the time. And this morning I got to work, got everything out. I set up my laptop and then I got distracted. I had to go run some copies. And then I came back and I was like, oh my gosh, I left my mouse out. So I dug through my drawer for a wired mouse. I plugged that in for a short time. And I was like, you know what? There's a wireless mouse out there. So I went and I got that one.
So she can use another mouse.
Yeah. So then before we started recording, I come in here and I'm talking to Beth and she's like, what's in the back of your laptop? I literally just realized it. And I was like, no, it was it's a mouse holder. And she's like, yeah, but what, like, so I look weird. And I'm like, oh my God, that's where my mouse was this whole day that I've been. So I do use it all the time.
Okay. Works really well. Yes. Helps her keep track of her mouse.
That's right. So Beth basically keeps everybody in line.
I try. I attempt.
You're really thinking. What do you want to say?
I'm going to keep it to myself. I'm going to be good today.
I also learned today as we're setting up this podcast that Emily really likes it when we sit really closely.
Guys, I can't breathe.
She really does hate how close we're sitting. Okay, so we're going to get started. So Beth, can you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. So I have a teaching license in early childhood. I started my career as a daycare administrator, and I did that for, 10 or 12 years in Fort Recovery. And when we had our youngest son, Pete, he has a genetic anomaly. So we started he had a lot of therapies, a lot of appointments. So it was hard to do both. It was hard to have a full-time job and meet all of his needs. So I decided to stay home and I babysat in my house for a few years. In that time, Amy Bin caught me outside of church one day and was like, hey, we have this position open at the ESC. You should do it. And it was for the parent mentor. So that's how I started the parent mentor role. And that was in 2017. A few years after that, there were some grant funding opportunities that the ESC took advantage of. And one of those was a family and community partnership liaison. And that's kind of how I came into the role of the family liaison. Since then, every county in Ohio has a family and children first coordinator. The coordinator in Mercer County, that position came open. So again, we kind of combined resources. And now I am also the family and children first coordinator for Mercer County.
I didn't know that's how you started. Like, yeah. I didn't know
Amy Bin outside of church one day. Yep.
Guys, we have these new microphones.
Oh yeah,
that make me more uncomfortable than I was in the first place. Like I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my hands.
We sound so much more professional though. So okay, you could ask the next.
Okay, Beth. Well, everybody knows what I do all day, which is walk around, chat with people,
and try to keep track of
Lindsay, keep track of Lindsay's stuff.
Yeah.
Personality hire.
Literally just tried to scare me a little while.
I did. I was going to record it this time because you're going to see it someday. I promise. Okay. So everybody knows what I do. What do you do? What are your main responsibilities? What does a day look like? as
Fine.
Beth?
So to sum it up in like one succinct sentence is I connect families with resources. And there are a few ways that I do that on a kind of base level. It's connecting all families with the resources or information that they need. Then on a like kind of a more in-depth level, I help families. Oh, sorry.
That was
Sorry, dear.
romantic.
Too close here. I support families who are in the special education process. So whether that's a 504 or an IEP or parents who just have concerns about their child's progress. And then there are a smaller population of youth who really need targeted support. And that's where that Family and Children First um, comes into play. And that is targeted support for youth who are involved in several different systems of support. And then we really target interventions to help them.
All right. So I need to look at our notes. So you talked a little bit about supporting families. So how do you support families in our community, or what kind of resources? Because you referred to resources, but what kind of resources do you help with assistance?
So again, like for general families, I have a family newsletter that I share out. We do a family information series here at the ESC once a month that provides specific topics, more information on specific topics. I kind of lost my train of thought there. The family information series. We have a Facebook page for families to get some information.
I don't ever know what to do with my hands. I'm so sorry. I'm distracting. I'm just gonna sit on them. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay, Emily. It'll be
I'm
over
distracted
soon.
by the microphone.
Oh my.
And then I do a coffee and chat once a month. So if a parent has a question or concern, they can meet me at a local coffee house. I do that. I try to hit every district in Mercer County and Versailles to do a coffee and chat once a month.
I'm going to make this about myself again. We know one of my major challenges is keeping Lindsay in line and dealing with Lindsay's shenanigans. What are some common challenges that you encounter? How do you address those?
Good question.
I know, ChatGPT wrote it.
Yeah, ChatGPT is pretty smart. So I would say generally across the board, the biggest barrier that I face is communication, clear communication, whether that be with between families and their school districts, families and teachers, families and the agencies that are trying to help support them, school districts to agencies, just in general communication, clear communication. We all kind of tend to work in silos, which can happen on a day-to-day basis. We need to work in those silos, but there are times where we need to have that good communication across our agencies, and I would say that that's one of my biggest barriers. I think another kind of, I don't know if it's a barrier, but something that I run into a lot is working through highly emotional situations. A lot of times these families, again, whether it's special education or if maybe they have some involvement in juvenile court, the families are emotional because it's your kids. You're talking about your kids, and we're all kind of protective of our kids and just want what's best for them. So just navigating some of those uncomfortable, high emotion conversations.
All right. So you talked about collaboration.
Mhm.
So when we're talking about collaboration with the districts, what about collaboration with the educators? How do you work with those teachers and administrators to support the students? And could you share an example of like a success story?
Sure. So, and to be honest, I don't have a lot of interaction with individual classroom teachers. It's more of the administrators and the guidance counselors. But overall, I kind of made myself a note. We have had 107 family and team meetings
Wow.
this last school year. And that is with the family and a representative from the school, and then and myself. So I would say a few things, sharing with the school the family perspective, what that family might be thinking or feeling, or how what the school is, what they're saying, how it might be perceived by a family. Another kind of way that I work with the school is connecting. Again, we talk about those silos, connecting, making sure that the schools are aware of the community resources so that we can share it out with families and make sure that we're reaching as many families as possible. And I do have a great example, and the person that the guidance counselor who was in this will probably recognize the story. I'll have to leave out names, of course, but we had a student who we were working kind of on that one-on-one support. He had some higher needs, so we were meeting with the school, the parent, and myself, and he had shared that he struggles with depression. And one of the things that he has found that helps him is playing the guitar. But he doesn't have a guitar. And again, some of these families come from tighter financial situations, so the family wasn't able to buy a guitar for him. He also had a fear of failing, so he didn't want to invest in a guitar because if he couldn't learn how, then he just failed again. So it was kind of this kind of cycle that we were going through. But in the meeting, the guidance counselor said, well, I have a guitar sitting in my basement that my husband keeps telling me I have to get rid of. So if this guitar would just happen to show up at your house one day, then would you try to play the guitar? So that was just kind of a neat way of connecting. And then through Family and Children First, we were able to get him some guitar books and some picks.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, just to help support this.
And he's probably loving it.
I think so. He doesn't want to say that he's getting better, but I think he is enjoying it. So yeah,
that's great. Thanks.
So Beth.
Yes, Emily.
Why are you laughing? Lindsay laughs at everything. Everything.
Oh.
Okay, so you've
Maybe
talked.
That's how she shows her nervousness. By laughing.
Are you nervous?
I'm not nervous.
You're not nervous?
You have to sit on your
you're
hands.
Nervous, and that's what's making me laugh.
I know. I can't help it.
She's never nervous, so being on camera is the only time.
No, it's and people really, people like when we do dyslexia, people are far away. Beth's touching my leg. For those of you who are just listening, Beth's touching my leg. So you talk about like all the work that you've done in the last. My gosh, you've been here for a long time now, almost a decade, right?
Not quite, but
okay.
Thanks, Emily.
Beth's the grandma of our. She's not even the oldest. She's not even the oldest. She doesn't have children who have children. There's no reason for me to call her grandma, except for the fact that it bothers. No, I don't even think it bothers her. I think she embraces it. I guess no, you don't even. You kind of act like a grandma. Like we were trying to come up with a really funny, like Lindsay and I are peanut butter and jelly. Like we're trying to come up with like a little quirky story because even the quirky story we told still had something to do with Lindsay. Like Beth is just like constant. Have a mental breakdown, you can go to Beth. Have a funny joke, you can go to Beth.
I'm not the fun guy.
No, but she's
I'm not the fun guy.
No, but you make me able to be fun. If I didn't have somebody I could come dump my stuff on, I can't be fun. I can't be fun.
Well, I'm glad I can support you in that way, yes. Emily.
Beth needs a raise. If you're listening, Shelly Vaughn. Okay, so we know that you've done a lot since you've been here. What are some of your goals for the future? Are you working on anything really cool right now?
I think in general, just overall supports for all families. Oh, she doesn't know what to do with the microphone.
Oh my gosh, give it here.
She's nervous again.
I'm not going to laugh.
So again, overall supports for families. I just always think that families could use more information. For them to be the best advocates for their kids, they need to have information. So that's always a constant goal. We are getting the lending library, and maybe I should back up. The Parent Mentor Program offers a lending library for families that has everything from books to sensory items to some physical therapy type items. That is available for any parent or family or school district, teacher, staff member to borrow an item for a month to try with the student. And the goal is for especially families to not have to purchase an item before they even know whether or not it's going to be helpful for their child. So,
well, can I just chime in?
Sure.
So a couple of years ago, I remember you building this website and it taking a very, very long time. But like as an educator, I feel like there's all these different resources that you wouldn't even know are available to you, but I think by having the website that people can go to see what the images look like and how it could support, I think that's like magnificent, even though I know it took you forever to do. And now you're updating it
Now
again.
Lindsay's making me redo it. Oh,
Lindsay loves
but
our website.
I think that's a story for another day.
Pride in our website.
Lindsay takes
Yes.
pride in our website.
That I do. Because it's everything that's available to the communities, family, educators.
And while we're talking about it, you know, a lot of times families don't even know what would be best for their child to be using. So they really look toward the teacher to say, you know what, we've been trying this in the classroom and it works. Maybe you could use that at home, because otherwise parents don't always even know what to be looking for, asking for, or what their child needs. So
can you share where they can find the information on the website?
So currently it is still the PDF format. So it's not great, but it is on our ESC website. It is under the parent mentor, or I'm sorry, the family liaison, which is under programs, I believe. I should know this information.
I do think it's under programs.
Yes. But if you would go under family liaison, there is a link there.
That's where it's listed at.
To the
and then once that website's live, that's where it will be.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So that's another it'll be more efficient to use, easier for people to find items on there, and then a better way for us internally to track which items have been borrowed and which items are available for use. So that's kind of a goal that's coming up. And then exciting news, we did get some additional funding for Mercer County through Family and Children First to support youth. So I think there was an additional, I think it was about $12,000 that came our way. So
great.
Yeah, additional dollars to be spent towards our youth. So that's good.
That's awesome.
We do have youth.
We do have youth.
Mercer County.
Lots of them.
I have a really important question for Beth. Beth, we know you're incredibly athletic. If you were a baseball player, what would your walk-up song be?
Narco. They're going to have to Google it because they don't know.
Did it come out before we were born? Did it come out before we were born?
Now I have to look it up. Let me see if it'll work, because sometimes this doesn't work, but I can't.
It came out before we were born. For sure.
If you're a Reds fan, you'll know. Now, it is a walk-up song from last season.
Oh, so it didn't come out before we were born.
No, I have no idea when it came out, but I know I'm older than you, but I'm not.
By Blaster Jacks.
Okay, let's play it. You guys are going to love it.
Beth, who are you?
Again, if you're a Reds fan, you'll know. Just wait.
Oh, I have heard this.
I'm playing this every time you come in the office now. Every single time. That's okay.
Okay. All right. That's good, Beth.
I like it. So, a little side note.
On, repeat when you come in.
I'm going to play it.
Blaring it over the loudspeakers.
I am.
Multi-purpose
I am.
space.
It's a good song.
Anytime we blast
it. It's a little peppier. It's better. So, story. When I don't have to pick Pete up from school very often, but that's what I play when I pick Pete up from school.
I love that.
So when he gets in the van, that's what he hears.
So it is your walk-up song.
It is my walk-up song. And could you look to see when it was made? Because I don't really like Emily making references to my
Well, you do love ABBA.
60 years ago is when it was added on here. So
how many? 68 years ago? Oh.
68. Just wait until this recording is over.
Well, you're not going to be able to make fun of me when I'm old.
My filter will be gone. You just wait.
2017.
2017. That's not too bad.
Okay, that's okay. I accept that. Okay. Here you go.
Emily's tired of holding
I know. She doesn't know what to do with it. Okay, so we covered a lot. Is there anything additional that you want to share?
The only other thing that I wanted to kind of share out is meeting families where they are. Sometimes we think we know the needs of a family without actually asking them what their need is. And I do have a quick story about that. I was meeting with a family in their home. It was the first time I was meeting with this family, so I didn't know them that well. But we were going through some questions. I was just kind of getting a feel for where they were. A knock came at the door, so the mom went and answered the door. And a community member, I'm not sure how the mom knew the community member, if it was through church or I'm not sure how they knew each other. That this community member offered or handed the mom an envelope, and she said, there are 4 tickets to Cedar Point and $100 in cash for you to use with your family. We know that you're working hard to make ends meet. We're really proud of you. The mom starts crying. This community member starts crying. I'm just kind of sitting in awe of the whole moment because it was pretty powerful. The community member left. The mom's still crying and she apologized for being emotional. And I was like, no, it's okay. I mean, this is a wonderful thing that has just happened. I understand why you'd be emotional. We talked about just how nice it is to have people in the community that support you. The kids were in the room as well. So, of course, they were excited. They had heard Cedar Point tickets and they were all excited. And the mom kind of made some sort of mom, comment about, hey, kids, why don't you go? And I can't remember if she said go outside and play or go get a freezer pop from the refrigerator or something. So the kids left the room and she's like, we can't go to Cedar Point. Like, we don't have consistent, reliable transportation to get us to Cedar Point. But she's like, now my kids just heard that we might be able to go to Cedar Point, and now I'm going to have to tell them, no, we can't. So again, it's just that community member was trying to do something good, was trying to help out the family. And of course, there are options for the family. They can sell those tickets or look into maybe a family member that could take them. But it just kind of made my heart sink because it seemed like it was such a great moment and what a great thing to do for a family. But yet it wasn't really meeting that family where they were. And it really caused the mom more anxiety because she's like, now I have to tell my kids
with them
that
sitting
that's
there
not
watching
happening.
and hearing it.
Yeah. So just something else to think about when we're meeting with families or even the students in the classrooms is really meeting them where they are and trying to understand their needs as best as possible.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Okay. So then we have one more thing for Beth.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. Hey, Beth.
Yes.
Oh, actually, I need to tell you, this joke is in honor of Lindsay. It has to do with Lindsay.
So keep that in mind, I guess, Beth.
Okay.
This makes me nervous.
I think you should be.
Beth.
I mean, I'm always nervous when she...
Yes, Emily.
Oh my gosh.
What do you call a vegetable that's cool, but not that cool?
I don't know.
Because you're not that cool. It's a radish.
That's a good one. That was a good one.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I don't like that. I was involved. Like, my name should not have been involved.